Hey guys, Ellie Shostak here. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are having an incredible day. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the concept of ghosting and how it affects people, as well as how people can actually learn from ghosting and use it in a healthy way to increase their options of dating people that are good for them. Okay, now most people, when they discuss dating and when they discuss the concept of ghosting, usually look at it in a very, very negative way. And that's okay, and that makes sense, because dating in general for many people is perceived as negative in general, right? Because usually when you're going out after a breakup and you're going on dates, you have some type of hesitation because of what previously happened to you. So that's why I founded my program, Find the Right One coaching program, is to help singles learn their mind frames, how their mind frames actually have been preventing them from getting into healthy relationships. Okay, and it comes from judgments on certain things. So ghosting is a concept where two people have begun to communicate with each other and may have actually dated, and then one of the people in the quote unquote relationship, and again, I use that word lightly because we don't know if necessarily it's actually gone into a relationship, or um, everybody considers relationships to be different, long-term, short-term. So let's just use it loosely here, that one of the two parties in this relationship has not gotten back to you at all to any of your texts. Some may go as far as blocking you on all social media accounts, as well as their phone, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we need to understand why somebody would do this to begin with. And I want to give you a situation, and let's just take it from there. So two people are dating, and they've begun to date. They've began communications. Let's talk about the ghosting phase in the prospecting phase. Okay, the ghosting action in the prospecting phase. So let's assume that you are communicating with somebody initially through text, usually, especially if you've joined a dating app, or if you've met them in person and you're prospecting still as to whether or not you want to go into the dating phase. That's a little bit something else, but let's just assume that you've begun to communicate through texting, and then the person that you're texting with ghosts you. They no longer respond to you and have nothing to say to you anymore. Now, if they block you on social media, that's usually already another step. But let's assume that they just don't respond to you in their texts. So the question then is, what do you do? How do you take that? Now, obviously, when you're trying to communicate with somebody and they don't get back to you, it's frustrating, no question. But especially in the dating phase, especially when you are somebody who is actually trying to find somebody to be with, when that person in the prospecting phase does not get back to you, then that could be frustrating, but there's a way to actually use it towards your advantage, because it's helped you make your decision that this person isn't for you. And then you can easily move on to the next one and say, next, bye-bye. Now, some of you might say, no, but what if I think in this prospecting that I really feel that this is right? Well, the facts on the ground are telling you the opposite. Now, your mind is going to want to start getting explanations, and it gets even worse, by the way, with the dating phase and the relationship phase, but we're going to get to that in a minute. First, we're just talking prospecting and ghosting in the prospecting phase. A way to use this in a healthy way, in a positive way, is to be able to say, thank you for giving me this feedback, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. And use, now again, your mind might be curious as to why they're not responding to you. But instead of getting into the whole mind and the ego of ourselves, we love to prove, well, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? Did I say something wrong? We don't have to go there. The mind looks for ways to prevent you from experiencing pain. So it says, if I figure out the reasons, either I could get the person to respond back to me, or I could feel better about this person doing this action of ghosting. Okay? Now, the reasons why they ghosted you could be 9 million reasons. 1, it might have nothing to do with you. 2, they might have found somebody else. 3, it does have something to do with you and they don't like you anymore. They saw a picture of you and they're not attracted anymore, or whatever it is. Maybe they died. That could be another reason why they ghosted you. They could be dead. So let's just assume that we have no clue as to what the other person is doing when it comes to the reasons why they ghosted us. Again, in the prospecting phase of dating. So guess what? Bye-bye, next. It's great feedback for you, because the more that you move into the dating phase and to the relationship phase in ghosting, the more difficult it will become for you to deal with it and handle that, okay? Now, let's go into ghosting in the dating phase. So you've begun to date the person, you've gone on a few dates with this person, and you're interacting with this person, and now the person ghosts you, and they no longer talk to you. Okay, maybe they've blocked you on social media, I don't know. But let's just assume that they no longer get back to you. Now again, your mind is going to go into even more hyperdrive to be able to say, I don't understand, how could they do this, it's not right. Give me some explanation. Give me some explanation. So the way to handle it, again, in this phase, is there's no reason why you can't try to see what happened here, right? Because maybe, just maybe, their ghosting is temporary. Could be. Maybe they lost their cell phone service. Could be. Now, if they blocked you on all social media and all, then that's already telling that there's something wrong here. But let's just assume that they have not gotten back to you. So I like to go into, I'm confused. We were dating. We were communicating. Things seem to be going well. And now you're not getting back to me. So maybe the person's cell phone is dead. Could be. Maybe they're sick. Could be. Maybe they're, now you can give this any time frame that you want. That if you don't hear back from them, you've reached out, you've asked, I'm confused, is everything okay? If you hear nothing back, again, this is great feedback for you. It's hurtful, it's frustrating. You're allowed to be, of course, you're allowed to be whatever you want, okay? I'm just telling you what helps me and what helps my clients. You go ahead and you say, fine, this is upsetting, but again, next, move on, okay? Now, one of the things that you can actually do, and I'm going to talk about the relationship phase and ghosting in the relationship phase. One of the things that you can do when things like this happen to you is you can say, how can I use this experience towards a healthier future? Okay? So basically, when you're dealing with somebody like this who is going to act in a way that they don't have the courtesy enough to explain to you why they no longer are talking to you, it could be that they lack communication skills and that they don't want to, because they're afraid of how you'll feel. Meanwhile, in the end, they come off looking like a real jerk for doing this. But what you want to do is you want to take the behaviors that you find to be annoying or abhorrible or stupid or whatever you've deemed it to be, and you want to be the opposite of that in your relationships. So you want to be communicative, right? But that does not mean that you therefore, after a few texting in the prospecting phase, you have to give a whole long explanation as to why you're no longer speaking to the person, okay? But if you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, then you can go ahead and say, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. Nice meeting you. Thanks. Short, sweet, simple, okay? And usually you can tell by their reaction if this was a good decision or not, right? So when they start to go crazy on you, it was a great decision that you did that, okay? If they say, I totally respect that and nice meeting you, yeah, I'm disappointed, but thanks, great person. Sometimes when they respond like that, it makes you actually want to go back to them, okay? But always learn from these situations that you find to be upsetting and try to incorporate that in your future dating situations as well as relationships, okay? And now what I'm going to talk about is ghosting in the relationship phase. Now this is really indicative of somebody not knowing how to deal with life, right? Because if you're in a relationship where you've been dating somebody for a long period of time and you're in the maintenance phase of things where you spend time together and all of a sudden this person does not get back to you, this person blocks you on social media, let's just talk about not getting back to you, then without a doubt, the pain that you're going to experience is going to be much higher than it would be if you were in the dating or in the prospecting phase of the relationship. It's going to be much higher. However, I know that this is beyond painful. There's no way that you would have been able to maintain a healthy relationship with someone who can do something like that to you. Okay? And when you're confident, right, and you are loving towards yourself, you don't want to put up with crap. And that doesn't mean that you have to tell the other person that you're this and you're that and I can't believe you did. I mean, obviously, if you feel that way and you want to share that, you can. However, you want to keep in mind that all of these communications or lack of communications are indicators for you on your journey towards a healthy, loving relationship to be able to tell you, okay, well, if someone can act this way, whatever reasons they have, I don't have to get into their psychology and their background, and the reason why they did it is because they had no cell phone service or this and that, the mother was sick or the father was sick. It takes 5 seconds to get back to you, especially in the relationship phase, which is already much more serious, okay? You don't have to get into all that. This is an indicator, which is if you can do this, where you go ahead and you act this way, then I don't want to be with you. I'm going to be with someone who is healthier, okay? So ghosting is a difficult concept that many of my clients deal with, okay? But what we try to do, especially in our program, the Find the Right One coaching program, is give each of my clients the ability to understand that you can build your confidence through these experiences by the way that you handle it, okay? So if you have any questions, first of all, if you like this, go ahead and like and share with your friends. If you have any questions, go ahead and message me. And I hope that you all have an awesome day. Thanks.